It's a great honor to speak for Han Yifang's at this conference. Today, I would like to talk about matching designs between Latin and Chinese characters. In the period of globalization, the old writing system is no longer the only option for us. We are in need of multi-script fonts to produce mixed language designs, and in China, Latin is the one that we cannot avoid. Although there are thousands of existing Latin typefaces, we are still thinking about how to build bridges between Latin and Chinese typefaces. We cannot talk about matching designs between Latin and Chinese without looking back of their history and development processes. The Latin alphabet appeared around 600 BC in Rome, and by the 1st century developed into Roman imperial capitals carved on the stones. And then Latin developed into many different styles, such as uncial, Caroline, Gothic, and Humanist minuscule. Between 1436 to 1450, Gutenberg invented a metal movable type printing system in Europe. After that, the styles of Latin typefaces could be categorized into Humanist, Goido, Transitional, Didon, Slab serif, and sans serif. In comparison, the history of Chinese character is much longer. It can be traced back to the appearance of Oracle bone script about 4,000 years ago. Then Chinese scripts developed into seal script, clerical script, regular script, and semi-cursive scripts. Around 1040, during the Northern Song dynasty, Bisheng, the man shown in the slides, developed the first non-mobile type system for printing in China. Now, Chinese typefaces can be classified as these four kinds of styles shown in the slides, which named Heiti, Songti, Fangsongti, and Kaiti. When comparing Latin and Chinese, we see there are two completely different language systems, and each have independent timelines of type development. But we can still find something in common in their typefaces. The sans serif shown in the slides look like the same. And also, the part of serif in Latin and Chinese looks the same as well. These two typefaces was made in totally different time periods, while the reduced serif part are similar. So from the perspective of style, is it true that Latin and Chinese can be designed by their styling? My answer is definitely yes, because there is a connection between Latin and Chinese from their shapes. So we usually start Latin and Chinese multi-script works from their shape. One example is the font, which named Ruiyi Song. This font will be released later this year. The Chinese characters of this font were designed first, and then we created the Latin typefaces for this font family. The shape of Chinese character and Latin characters were carefully considered at the beginning of this work. This is the condensed version of Ruiyi Song family. In the condensed version, the shape of Chinese character is narrow because most Chinese characters are square in shape. And the vertical strokes showed high contrast to the horizontal strokes. This kind of style made us think of Didon style, which has a similar contrast in the strokes. Therefore, the Latin was created in the Didon style family. And this is the standard version of Ruiyi Song family. The structure and the shape of serif has been changed, which look more stable and is suitable for text reading. As the shape of Chinese characters has changed, the Latin condensed version no longer matches the Chinese characters. So we adjust the shape of serif. The serif was stronger than in the condensed version, and we made the horizontal strokes thicker in order to reduce a bit of contrast between the horizontal and vertical strokes. And this is the italic version of Reisong family. It was a big challenge for us because this kind of Chinese character is quite special. The slope angle of the left vertical stroke is different from the right one, which making the character look like a trapezoid. This kind of appearance is special, but rare in Chinese typography design. When dealing with this kind of special Chinese typefaces, existing Latin typefaces may not match. So we created an italic Latin typefaces for this font family. This time, we chose an upright italic style rather than the regular italic style. Upright italic has a cursive style but remains upright. Sylvia, Joanna, and Dipdin, the three font families that are upright italic or near upright italic. By analyzing these upright italic typefaces, we found that the slope angle of the small cap letters was from 1 to 3 degrees. And most of them were distinguished from the Roman by a cursive style. So when creating the italic for the Reisong family, we tried to control the vertical strokes and made them slope slightly. And in order to have an equal slant, the slope angle of each vertical stroke was different. Meanwhile, we tried to control the degree of curve and made it smaller. By controlling the curve, it prevented any confusion with the standard version. And this project is an effective way to match designs between Latin and Chinese in terms of style and shape. However, some special type styles, such as the Chinese calligraphy typefaces, could not be easily matched by their shape because it's hard to classify this kind of type. So sometimes we have to use different methods when creating the Latin partners of these Chinese typefaces, like writing tools or textures. This typeface is named Tang Meiren. It was released earlier this year and is one of the best sellers. The inspiration of the typeface came from semi-cursive script, which is one of the Chinese calligraphy styles I mentioned at the beginning of my talk. Let's take a closer look. We can see that the both start and the end parts of the strokes show the influence of calligraphy. These details made me think of using the same writing tools to create the Latin part. These writing tools include brush, ink, and paper. These are some sketches from the beginning of this project. I find that the unique brush strokes and different styles of these writing tools are the most basic and effective design materials. So as a type designer, I have to make a choice between these materials because each sketch is a unique result. Then I had to let the one highlighted feature from the writing tools extend to the other characters. This process might be complicated, but it can also be quite interesting. And when we talk about matching designs, we cannot ignore numbers and punctuation in the multi-script environment. From 2015 to 2016, we collaborated with Amole Pacific to create this font named Alida Haiti. Amole Pacific Corporation is a South Korean beauty and cosmetic conglomerate, operating 33 health, beauty, and personal care brands. This font was a font family developed for their branding. It has clean, straight lines without extra ornamentation at the ends, which symbolize a modern Asian woman with a strong command. We created the Chinese characters based on the shape of hunger and also redesigned the Latin part. In order to match the feature of women's elegance, We modified the shape of letters several times and also had to change the shape of numbers and punctuation. The first edition of numbers was created in humanist sans serif style, but the art director of Amelia Pacific thought it was too normal. So we changed the shape, but they thought it was not readable enough. In the end, the numbers were designed like this. We made both lining figures and old-style figures to fit the multi-script environment. And we also did 3 versions of punctuation. At first, we made a straight comma, but the people from Amelia Pacific thought it was too sturdy to fit the cosmetic environment. So we did a second version. In their opinion, the second one was too round. So we combined the both versions of created a comma like this. Moreover, we did some adjustment on the size of punctuation. We tried to reduce the punctuation size in order to express the delicate nature of women. And this year, we collaborated with Alibaba and designed a custom font family for them, which named Puhuiti. Alibaba Group is a Chinese multinational conglomerate holding company specializing in e-commerce, retail, internet, and technology. Before we start designing, we learned that the font was not only used in the Chinese environment, but also used in the multi-script environment. So considering their needs, we made some adjustments of some punctuations. For example, the position of ellipses was aligned to the baseline, which did not follow the Chinese typefaces. In the rule of Chinese typefaces, the ellipsis is horizontally centered. If the ellipsis had been designed like this, the text flow would be broken in the multi-script environment. However, if we keep the ellipsis aligned to the baseline, there would be no problem when using it in Chinese characters. When dealing with these problems, we wanted to pick a solution that less influence on the layout. So finally, we aligned the ellipses to the baseline. The designs of code left and the code right were also based on the same considerations. In the principle of Chinese typefaces, the code left and code right were 4 ways. If we use a 4 ways code left or code right in Latin, it would be very strange. But using the code left and the code right in proportion with Chinese characters, it should be fine. So we kept the code left and the code right in proportion. However, what we did in Alibaba Puhuiti was a compromise, not a true solution. Now, a better solution for us would be one that changes the language environment by input method and uses FES to achieve the function of switching letters in different languages. But there's still a long way to go. So by the end of my presentation, I hope you guys may have a better understanding of matching designs between Latin and Chinese typefaces. I think there are more bridges between Latin and Chinese beyond the 3 methods I mentioned in my talk. And I believe there will be more possibilities in multi-script typefaces in the future. Thank you.